learn a little bit from Westbrook. Obviously he's a Hall of Fame caliber player, so it's going to be a great opportunity for me.
All right, Tim McMahon joins us. He covers the Rockets for ESPN. Let's just get this out of the way right away because everyone wants to know this. How much of the relationship between James Harden and Chris Paul factor into the deal?
Did that friction factor into James Harden's desire to team up with Russell Westbrook instead of Chris Paul? Perhaps, but that was not the reason this trade was made. As a Rocket source told me, that did not drive them to do anything that they otherwise would not have done. They did not feel like they had to trade Chris Paul, and they were not going to trade Chris Paul unless they felt like they got equal or better basketball value in return. There was not a situation that was available until Russell Westbrook was put on the trade block, and obviously once that happened, the Rockets pounced.
So we know Houston, they want to win right now. They've been very clear about that. But how is this also a long-term play, too?
Well, you look at the ages. Russell Westbrook's 3.5 years younger than Chris Paul. And look, we watched last season. We saw these signs of physical decline with Chris Paul. Realistically, that window was down to a year, maybe 2 years. They feel like with Russell Westbrook, it extends the window that they can be legitimate contenders. They feel like they now have a chance to contend for championships throughout James Harden's prime. And so that certainly was a big factor in feeling like Russell Westbrook was an upgrade, not just this season, but again, it is about the next 4 years that he's under contract.
Well, we heard Woj just say a few moments ago that Harden wanted to play with Westbrook. These guys have played together with the Thunder. Everyone knows about that. But that situation was very different. Harden, a completely different player now. Both guys very ball dominant. What kind of concerns does that present for you?
Well, look, it's not necessarily a perfect basketball fit, but it is a partnership that Russell Westbrook and James Harden are very excited about, and that gives the Rockets confidence that it can work. And, they feel like Russell Westbrook will drastically improve them in terms of being a transition team, in terms of a team that gets out and running. And they also feel like he will thrive in their system simply because for the first time in a long time, he will be able to operate with spacing, with shooters around him. And in terms of him not being a shooter and how does that impact, James Harden as an ISO player? One guy told me, well, it's not like James needs space to get off that step back.
Well, the narrative in Houston changing quite a bit just over a couple weeks. You're going to be a busy man. Get some rest before the season starts. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
We got plenty more coming up on the trade. Stephen A. Smith telling us why Westbrook is an upgrade for Houston. Plus, what's Russ's legacy in OKC?